Alright, so look, we're gonna get back into the NBA today, and we gonna talk about the infamous quarantine bubble in Orlando. I know we still got a couple weeks until the first games are played, but there's still a lot of stuff to talk about. Injuries, Westbrook just got the virus, people are already snitching on the hotline, like it's getting crazy in there. But we gonna talk about something more important today, and that is the 5 players with the most to gain for their legacy if they were to win the quarantined coronavirus NBA title. And as a disclaimer, we gonna be listing players that actually have a real chance of winning the championship. So I know if somebody like Ja Morant led the Grizzlies to the finals and was finals MVP, that'd be ridiculous. It'd go down in history. Like, that would boost his legacy OC, and he'd obviously be number 1 on the list. But we all know that's not gonna happen because, you know, the Grizzlies are shitty. No cap. But before we start, go ahead and like the video, subscribe if you're new, and comment down below with who you think should be at the top of this list. And without any further ado, let's start arguing. So we're gonna start off the list with something that might be a shocker to some of y'all. So don't go crazy when I say this, but at number 5, I'm gonna put LeBron James. Look, I know, just let me explain. Relax, just let me explain. This is not a best players list. This is not a who's most likely to win the championship list. All I'm saying is LeBron doesn't have much to gain from winning this title, in my opinion. To me, LeBron is already the 2nd greatest player ever, and I don't think one more ring is gonna put him ahead of Jordan. Now, if he wins back-to-back this year and next year, that might give him the edge against Jordan, but just one isn't gonna cut it. So if we're talking about players with the most to gain from winning this, I don't think LeBron should be high on this list. I feel like his legacy is already cemented. He's already on the Mount Rushmore, already number 2 all time. It would have been one thing if he took an undermanned team that had no business winning the championship all the way there, but you got this guy playing with you. This man has a unibrow and is actually good at basketball. Sickening. And y'all the only team that actually have 2 legitimate superstars in this bubble. He's not moving down on anybody's list, so this ring doesn't really mean much for his legacy in my opinion. At number 4, I'm gonna put my guy Jayson Tatum. We all know I'm a Celtics fan, so this might be some bias, but I don't give a damn. And I honestly feel like the Celtics have the best chance to beat the Bucks in the East. And if that were to happen, it would be because Tatum was going the fuck off. And if Jayson Tatum, who just turned 22, leads the Boston Celtics back to the championship, beating the Bucks and one of the LA teams to do it, you best believe his legacy's gonna go crazy. He would join only a handful of players to lead their team to the finals when they were so young. Like, come on, son. He'd be in the same conversation as Magic, Shaq, LeBron, as players that were on the doorstep of championships as soon as they got in the league. And if he wins one, I feel like that'll open up the floodgates for him. He would immediately turn into the consensus go-to player for that team. Right now, he's still sharing the load with Jaylen Brown and Kemba. Once he gets that first ring, he might turn into a whole nother animal. People are already saying he has a chance to be the next coming of Kobe. I mean, he plays just like him. Relentless scorer with all the skills in the world. So there's a lot on the line for Jayson Tatum, in my opinion. You win this and you catapult yourself to the path of being an all-time great. At number 3, I'm gonna put James Harden. This to me is really simple. James Harden has pretty much done everything you can except for getting it done in the playoffs. He's about to lead the league in scoring for the 3rd consecutive year, has 1 MVP and some say he should have more, 6th man of the year, led the league in assists 1 year, 6-time All-NBA. I mean, he's done everything. He's arguably a top 5 scorer all time if you're not including centers. The main knock on his career is that he hasn't won yet, and he doesn't give a fuck about playing defense, but that's a topic for another day. But besides that, people always say and argue that his play style would never translate to winning a championship. So if he wins the ring this year, shuts all the haters up, and proves that he can win with the way he plays, he would immediately, and I mean immediately, go from just a top 50 player to a top 25, top 20 player off this one ring alone. Basically, winning this ring for James Harden takes him out of the category with AI and Barkley and puts him into the category with the all-time greats. The top 2 could honestly go either way, but at number 2, I'm gonna put Giannis. The Greek Freak is really the next Shaq with a slight handle on the perimeter. Like, that shit is scary, son. And if he gets a jump shot, you can say goodbye to the rest of the league because he's winning 8 straight. I don't give a fuck. Giannis the past 3 years has been ridiculously dominant, almost for sure about to win his second MVP in a row. And if you add a chip and finals MVP on top of that, he would 100% become the consensus best player in the world. And that might be a title that he doesn't give up for almost a decade, just like LeBron. And not only would he have won, but he would then stay in Milwaukee long term and then potentially sign a free agent in the future. And if you can imagine him with another legitimate star or superstar instead of Chris Middleton's weak ass, that shit has dynasty written all over it, especially in the East. If he's already winning 60, 65 games, imagine what he would do with another star. This kid is only 25. I have to remind myself that every day. He's young as shit. So yeah, this title means more than people realize for Giannis's career. But to me, this title would mean even more to the person at number 1, and that's Kawhi Leonard. If Kawhi wins this title, he also would instantly become the consensus best player in the world. But not only that, this title would mean he would have gone back to back and would have won his 3rd championship with his 3rd different team with 3 finals MVPs. And it would validate his championship from last year. Everybody talks shit because the Warriors weren't healthy, whatever. The history in it matters for Kawhi. Like, let's think about everything that's happened. The Spurs basically deported him to Canada, and even after the crazy playoff run last year, where he shut down Giannis and then beat the Warriors, he still got no respect, and barely anybody gave him the title as best player. And then after that, LeBron and AD are recruiting him to come to the Lakers, and he says, nah, I'm gonna go to the Clippers and beat y'all instead. But if he goes from winning a championship in Canada to then going to LA not to play with LeBron but to win on his own, to actually winning on his own, he would become the king of LA, the king of the NBA, the face of the league, all of that. Not to mention, he also would catapult himself into becoming one of the all-time greats with the championship this year. So with all that said, I feel like Kawhi got the most of the game. And you know what? Kawhi actually said it best.